Mr. Pettitt, how do you see the place of innovITS in the ITS value chain as a whole?
Well, that's easy. We're running innovITS Advanced, which is a test facility. So we fit into the value chain with anyone who wants to test or validate their systems. And when I say test, I mean doing it differently to how we've done it before. A lot of what we've done before is out on the public road where you're fairly confident it all works. It's very often then just validating business cases and things, trials. We're talking about testing systems, so exercising them against very specific requirements, looking at failure modes and see how they survive and what have you. Because systems are increasingly critical. They're safety critical, they're transaction critical with tolling systems and what have you. And increasingly they're brand critical. There's some major brands who can't afford things to go wrong out when they're with the public. So that means you need to test things rigorously, which is why we built our test facility, which consists of 4 kilometers of private road space with private communications, GSM, 3G, Wi-Fi. As they're private, we can play with them, we can turn them down, we can turn transmitters off, we can turn them on and off, things like that. The sort of things you want to do when you're testing, because you haven't always got an ideal world out there with ideal communication, ideal context to do things. Here you can test it for the ideal circumstance. You can measure what the detailed performance is. If you've got a fuel conservation application, you can do some detailed measurement about exactly what it conserves in an ideal circumstance, and then compare it out with months of trialing on the road. So that you can get that baseline performance in place to know that you're delivering. And then you can look at all the failure modes. What happens when the GSM isn't ideal? What happens when your satellite navigation isn't ideal? If you're traveling in the middle of a city and you haven't got good positioning, does the application continue to work well? We can test all of those sort of things with our unique facilities.
Who are your potential customers and users for this, and what kind of visitors are you hoping for at this year's conference?
Okay. Quite a few different sorts of customers, and so far we've been talking to university groups doing research who need a place to go and play or demonstrate what they've done. We've already been doing a film with a television program that wanted to explain what a particular university was researching. Obviously motor manufacturers with systems embedded in vehicles, or other companies producing those sort of systems to go in vehicles, or by the side of the road applications. So all those manufacturers, or indeed public authorities who want to be able to certify these things, or run a competition to choose a supplier. All those sort of people could use our facility.
What do you see as the highlights of this year's 19th ITS World Congress?
Well, it's too early. We've just started, first day, so I really don't know what the highlights will be. But one highlight personally for me is we've got our stand and we're talking about innovITS Advanced and we're giving a paper. But there's another stand with one of our collaborators who's showing some of the technologies that they're deploying in our test facility and some other things. So we're working with them between stands, and also with part of the Ertico stand where we're talking about eCall. We've been collaborating there with people, understanding how you test eCall systems, and we're working with those people as well. So we're very much interworking across the show this year, which is a great highlight for me.
Glad to hear you pick up on that theme, cooperation and collaboration.
Cooperation, yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pettitt, for your contribution.